Noam Chomsky's Understanding Power, Dissecting the Anatomy of Power. Noam Chomsky's Understanding Power is a compelling exploration of the intricate dynamics that define power relations in society. Published in 2002, this collection of dialogues offers profound insights into the sources, mechanisms, and consequences of power. In this comprehensive analysis, we'll delve into Chomsky's incisive arguments and examine real-world examples to illuminate the complexities of power in our contemporary world. The multifaceted nature of power. Chomsky challenges the simplistic understanding of power as mere coercion or domination, instead presenting a nuanced view that encompasses various forms and expressions. He argues that power operates through a multitude of channels, including economic, political, cultural, and ideological. For example, economic power manifests through control over resources and production, while political power is wielded through institutions and legislation. To illustrate this point, Chomsky examines the concentration of wealth and resources in the hands of a few elite individuals and corporations. He highlights the disproportionate influence of corporate lobbyists on government policies and the erosion of democratic principles in the face of corporate interests. The role of propaganda in shaping perceptions. A central theme in Understanding Power is the pervasive role of propaganda in shaping public opinion and manufacturing consent. Chomsky argues that propaganda is a key tool used by powerful institutions to control information and manipulate public discourse. He explores how media outlets, political elites, and corporate interests collaborate to disseminate narratives that serve their own agendas. For instance, Chomsky examines the media coverage of military interventions and war, highlighting the ways in which mainstream media outlets often serve as mouthpieces for government propaganda. He points to the framing of conflicts as humanitarian interventions or wars on terror as examples of how language is used to manipulate public perception and justify military aggression. Ideology as a tool of control. Chomsky delves into the role of ideology in legitimizing and perpetuating existing power structures. He argues that dominant ideologies such as capitalism, nationalism, and neoliberalism shape our understanding of the world and reinforce the status quo. These ideologies prioritize profit over people, perpetuate inequality, and justify oppressive systems of governance. To illustrate this, Chomsky analyzes the rhetoric of political leaders and the ways in which they use ideological narratives to garner support for their policies. He critiques the notion of trickle-down economics as an example of how neoliberal ideology is used to justify tax cuts for the wealthy, while slashing social services for the poor. Forms of resistance and social change. Despite the pervasive influence of power, Chomsky maintains that resistance is possible and necessary for social change. He explores various forms of resistance, from grassroots activism to organized social movements, highlighting their potential to challenge entrenched power structures and effect meaningful change. Chomsky emphasizes the importance of solidarity, grassroots organizing, and collective action in confronting power and advancing social justice. He examines historical examples such as the civil rights movement, the labor movement, and the anti-war movement to illustrate the power of collective action in challenging oppression and effecting systemic change. The limits and potential of power. In the final chapters, Chomsky reflects on the limitations of power and the potential for transformative change. He argues that while power may seem overwhelming and insurmountable, it ultimately depends on the consent and acquiescence of the governed. Chomsky urges readers to recognize their agency and capacity to challenge power, emphasizing the importance of critical thinking, civic engagement, and collective action. Conclusion. Noam Chomsky's Understanding Power offers a profound analysis of the dynamics of power and its effects on individuals and societies. Through a series of engaging dialogues, Chomsky unpacks the mechanisms through which power operates and explores avenues for resistance and social change. Let us heed Chomsky's call to critically examine power dynamics and work towards a more just and equitable world.